Welcome to AI in Real Life, real talk with real experts, brought to you by the AI Institute for Societal Decision Making. I'm Katy, your host and a student at Carnegie Mellon University. In each episode, we delve into how artificial intelligence is shaping our world and influencing the decisions we make every day. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of AI and creativity with Professor Eunsu Kang. Eunsu is a visiting professor and instructor of art and machine learning at CMU's machine learning department. She's also a renowned media artist whose interactive installations and AI-generated artworks have been exhibited worldwide. Eunsu, it's a pleasure to have you here. Could you kick us off by sharing a bit about your journey? Like, how do you go from making video arts and performances to collaborating with artificial intelligence in your creative work?
At first, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So I started with single-channel videos. That's the term we used to use. But if you think about it, it's just like YouTube videos and movies that you can see any kind of video, moving images that you can see on one screen. So I was making moving images, and then I wanted them to interact with people. So I wanted to study interactive technologies in art, which was pretty much new at the time. And then I was working with technologies. So obviously, you start doing coding for your artworks, using lots of technologies like these microphones and video cameras, video projections, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I was talking with my friend who is a computer music composer when I was doing my PhD at the University of Washington in Seattle. I wanted to have this sound work that that could be my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, but the sound itself is not coming from my voice, but for example, like water sound.
Ooh.
So water sound is filling up my voice as if my voice is shell and it's filled with water sound. And there are similar things like vocoder since long time ago, like, through animations and all. But it's not exactly doing what I was just describing. It more like turns like whistle sound into voice-like pitches, right? That you can see in Disney animations, old Disney animations a lot. But not exactly what I was imagining. And in the conversation, we got to the conclusion that we might need some type of like AI, machine learning method to realize that. That was many years ago. And then I kind of forgot about it. Then I started learn about all these changes, machine learning methods coming out, the LSTMs and GANs. It was not as impressive as those tools now, but to me, it was great to see the potential of making artworks using machine learning methods.
Of course.
So I got interested. I started studying a little bit, and I had my sabbatical. At that time, I was an art professor, and I had sabbatical. And my husband, always who is very supportive of what I do, he encouraged me that why don't I teach something I'm interested in? So I had a temporary job at CMU teaching the first art and machine learning course. And coming from that, just I decided to move on to this field entirely. So I quit my art professorship and came here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Thanks so much for sharing your experience.
Oh, actually, the other context I can talk about is that art making is always about understanding the world and ourselves of that time period. So when we had modern art, there was this industrialization and modernism going on.
Right.
And we had postmodernism. and all these different things. And when we have scientific development, because that's reflected into our culture, so that shows up in art as well. So it's just very natural to use and also embrace the thoughts of AI into art, because basically art is really the reflection of our life and our world.
That's fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experiences. Let's pull back a little bit, go to the foundational concept. I guess a lot of our listeners may have heard the words of creative AI, but don't actually know what does it actually means. How does that actually look like when AI become part of the artistic process? And could you walk us through a recent project you just collaborate with AI and explain how does AI fit into your creative flow?
Yeah. First, creative AI can mean multiple things because the creativity itself has diverse and multi-level definitions.
Of course.
So when I teach students, I go through the definition of creativity first, which come from this very thick book from Oxford. It's filled with all different categories of creativity. Also, we have Newell Simon Hall, right? Newell, Simon, and Shaw, I forgot the year, but when Carnegie Mellon University was what is that Institute of Technology, right? It's that long ago. They already talked about what kind of creativity they should use as a definition for creative AI. Considering all this, so creative AI could mean AI that generates creative product like artworks, as we know pretty well. Also, it could be an AI assisting to develop or figure out creative solutions to any difficult problems. Newell, Simon, and Shaw, in their paper about creative AI a long time ago, they also mentioned that creativity can be found when there is a creative solution to an ill-defined problem. Ill-defined problems such as how to make AI creative. Because you need to define creativity. That's already very difficult task, right? And there are these very difficult tasks. You need to find a creative solution. And if AI can help finding those solutions, we would think that AI is creative. And the other thing, the third one we can think of is that when AI is assisting people in creative activities. So AI doesn't need to be the author always, right? It could be an assistant. It could be a helper. It could be a co-worker, anything, co-creator. So that those three, in those three aspects, I think we can call all of them creative AI if it's doing one of those.
I see. Thank you so much. I think you already answered my question about the big debate of whether machine can really be creative. But going along the line and then digging deeper about your definition of creativity, from your perspective, what kind of creativity does AI brings to the table? And how does that differ from what human artist does? And what do you see your own creativity showing up in your collaboration with AI?
So human artists, our creativity comes from what we know, our culture, our social structure, individual experiences. Every artist, every human being is influenced by surroundings, our world, and the knowledge we've been gaining, and also people around us, right? And that is the source of creativity. And what we have learned we thought of a new possibility of looking at the problems, existing problems, from a new perspective. The AI actually can do that, and hopefully, this is a really exciting part. Although we train or develop AI based on human knowledge, and in our human frames, right? Still, it seems there is a possibility of seeing some non-stereotypical ideas coming out of AI. For example, Isedol is a Go master who is retired now, who won against AlphaGo once, and then he lost the next one.
Yeah.
And when he lost, he said, I didn't expect that kind of move at all, although he was world champion. And recently he retired and actually started teaching game making using AI. And he said, people's limit comes from, it's my direct translation, so it could be different in English. But he said, people's limit comes from stereotypical thoughts, or those frames we are trapped in terms of thoughts. And when AlphaGo showed that unexpected move made him lose against AlphaGo, he saw the possibility of not stereotypical, very provoking new idea coming out of AI. So because AIs can search through such extensive latent space, right? We have our limits, but maybe with this constant search in the very big space of data, AI could find some very new, novel ideas and solutions.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the example. And then just bring it back to your work. You often describe your work with AI as collaboration. And what does that collaboration actually look like in practice? Like, is there any moment where AI surprises you, like what showed up in the example you gave, and probably leads you to a direction you didn't expect? And how do you decide when to intervene versus to let AI speak themselves?
So my most recent work that just finished its exhibition in New York is called Hexad for Guitarists and Artificial Organisms. It's a hexad because there are 5 AI creatures and one human guitarist are jamming together. They are playing music together. So like 6 musicians. I call it in short hexad. And this project goes with my ongoing exploration to the answer in my ongoing search into the answer for this question: how we can live with AI together. Like how well we can live together, right? Because it's inevitable. We are not gonna live without it.
Right.
Then we need to live well together, right? In that case, I wanted to show people that AI can be a friendly collaborator or co-artist. So these 5 AI-driven creatures, they have these interesting shapes on 5 screens, and they have their own voices generated using machine learning method. And they follow the guitar sound feeding into their system. And each one responds when there is a certain range of pitch or harmony or played through the guitar. So as a result, this guitarist is playing some music, improvisation, and then these 5 creatures make different sounds in response to that. And then guitarists listen to that and then respond to it and going back and forth, back and forth. So they are playing a music together, trying to make a music together, right? So that's what I made the most recently with my friend and guitarist Donald Craig, who lives in Seattle, by the way. And it goes with my other exploration. The other series I'm working on is called An AI, a Child, and an Artist. So I'm trying to make artworks with my son and AI, like machine learning methods or any AI models. So far, we've made 2 paintings, and I'm trying to make something more, but my son is getting busier, and he definitely doesn't want to make artworks with me when I want him to work on it, right? He's of course completely uncontrollable. So we'll see what will be the next. So overall, yeah, I'm experimenting to see how we different human beings and also different AI agents can create something meaningful moment or artwork together.
Got it. And then you just mentioned about different AI models and AI agent. I think what's more familiar to us and to our listeners are probably the current model tools like Midjourney and DALL-E. Have you ever used them for your work? Or like, do you find them limiting in certain ways and you compare to the own like AI models or AI agents you build yourself?
Of course, I've used them. Actually, because I teach art and machine learning class, I try most of them as much as possible. So I subscribe at the beginning of spring semester, and I'm in the process of unsubscribing from all of them right now. I try them, and also because when I work with my son, those are definitely easier and more accessible for children. So I encourage him to try them out, and then it becomes a part of our artwork together. I find it limiting because of it's what is the word when this and this what is the word when we call it, there is a situation, it's in a way good but in a way very bad. Anyway, yeah. So those tools are good in a sense that more people gain access to AI models. Because it's been a really steep hill for artists to learn Python and dealing with all the models and parameters, not really getting even into the developing algorithms, right? And the math, definitely, it's a big challenge. Those tools are definitely good for people who didn't have any education or knowledge in terms of coding Python, all the math and all the machine learning things, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's encouraging because one thing AI really can do for the people and art field is a democratization of art, which should be related to the accessibility of these tools. However, as an artist, those interfaces that's added to make it more accessible and please people, they are creating some problems. For example, people have been very frustrated that they cannot completely control the outcome when they use AI models, because that's not the nature of those algorithms. So these companies added features such as you can have a guideline image and then it will create something similar to it, right? So people can get closer to what they want to make. But that actually eliminates the most exciting part for me when I use machine learning methods for art making, because it's getting rid of this surprising moment. The reason I'm really excited about this method is that it does give me different possibilities that I haven't thought of within whatever the boundary that I'm trying to stay, right? But with these additions, you are really just trying to make that exact picture that you had in your mind. And I find it a little boring because I don't get to explore creative possibilities of the model more. So in that sense, I prefer working with algorithms themselves. Just it's very hard. They are updating these frameworks so often, and just it's very hard to keep up. Yeah. And there is one more thing that I want to talk about. And when we have these features that's added for like character consistency or to get closer to what people want, there is another breach that happens. Like ethical issues, like you were going to ask later. Yeah, the ethical issues, because you can actually bring in someone else's artwork as a reference image and then create something very similar.
Exactly.
It's up to that person being ethical or not. However, making it easier, is that really the right direction? So there is this dilemma to democratize art word for people who didn't have access to like art education or tools, capacities. It's definitely helping, and I like that direction as well. But at the same time, by adding all these additional interfaces, it's becoming, first, less exciting for me in terms of creativity standpoint, and also the ethical issues that we cannot ignore, they are being more pronounced.
Got it. And then, as you mentioned, like creative AI can sometimes be very controversial, and people may worry it's like replacing the artist or like copying the existing works. And what are some like common misconceptions or like ethical concerns about the AI generated art that you would like to clear up?
Common misconception about AI generated art. What would that be? Anything in your mind?
Yeah, it's just what you mentioned about the copyright thing. You're using others' work as a reference and then the generated work.
That's not really misconception about AI. Actually, general misconception about AI people are having is that people anthropomorphize AI too much, as if AI has its own desire to like destroy the world and humanity, or it has its own mindset to go around what people really want. But AI is really like a baby. like a really little child. They do whatever they learn. They respond to what we teach them. So that's a very common misconception. Yeah. And AI is basically some years ago, like 2016 or so, my student and I made this paper. And at that time, we called not collaboration, but co-creation. And what is that word? Surrogate, yeah. So I think we thought AI models are built upon the surrogacies of humans who are involved in the development process. Well, it could range from the algorithm developer to actually even the user and distributors and just people tweaking it. Because AI models are like children, they observe everything they learn and they spit out everything they learn, like those children who use curse words, not even knowing what those words mean, right? So we really need to be very careful to use it ethically. There are two big ethical issues. One is the copyright issue.
Yes.
There is a very good example I love to talk about. There is a web cartoonist whose name is Sarah Anderson. So she makes these cartoons as if her diary, and she uploaded on the internet. And she had some certain people who are in love with her work and reading it all the time. Yep. Then she said at one point the alt-right movement people used her style of cartoon to talk about their own issues. They're making their statement. So Sarah Anderson obviously didn't agree to what they were saying, but they are using her cartoon style, which was very offensive to her. Then last year or so, people started making cartoons for fun, and they were able to mimic her cartoon style again using AI models. She said she felt a similar level of offensiveness. Like she was very unhappy about it. And I understand, right? Because you have your voice. You have your voice, and your voice has been used for something that you don't agree to. Yeah. And of course, deepfake can be used this way too. Right. Yeah. Someone deepfake my voice and says something about AI will destroy the world. I would be offended, right? So that's actually happening very broadly. And at the bottom line of these issues, there is this greediness of companies making AI models. So they were in the race of creating good results really fast. And in the meanwhile, to create good result, impressive result fast, they were grabbing lots of data. So for a while, it's been a race of who would have more data and who would have more GPUs. Those two things, basically, based on who would have more money, right? Unfortunately, really. Then many of these companies used a data set that's sold by a German company, Lion. And those were using data scraped off from internet a lot. So lots of artist work, digital artist work, especially because they have portfolios on the internet and they have digital communities sharing their works with each other. So those were all scraped off. So if you know their names, you can make exact copy of their style, which is their voice. and then create completely new content.
Mm-hmm.
So the data set, the data collecting process has not been properly managed. And without consensus, legally it's approved for them to collect those data from internet because they are considered as public resource.
Right.
So now there is no way of really for these artists ask them to remove their work. So there are lawsuits going on right now. You probably know you are doing public policy. But I don't know if artists can win. So that's a very serious problem. And I really think it's coming from the greediness of trying to win the race of creating impressive result fast.
Yeah. I see. There's a lot of we need to do to resolve these issues. And last question, where do you see the future of AI and arts heading? And are there exciting new tools or like ideas you're hoping to explore next? And for our listeners who are curious, whether they're artists, technologists, or just inspired, what is a good first step for them to get involved in this kind of work?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, but definitely democratization and accessibility, not only for the people in public, but that would be great if people couldn't get proper art education, but who's been desiring to make artworks by themselves, if they can be assisted by AI, right? Also, let's say there is someone who cannot really move their arms much, but they've been wanting to make paintings. They could be assisted by AI. So I think there is a huge area that we can use AI to help people. And so the democratization and accessibility, those two will be real. So in terms of future, those are, I've talked about all these three apparently already. So democratization and collaboration and accessibility, those three things really needs to be explored further, for the future of AI and art.
Got it. And then the first step for like beginners to try.
Right. See, I forgot already. Yeah. That's a difficult question.
Like, how did you actually start trying the AI and machine learning?
At that time, we had nothing. We really had to use Python, install Python, and I had to buy GPUs.
Oh my God.
Now it's all online on network. For people who are interested in making art using AI, if they have any previous knowledge, of course they can start with any popular tools like ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney, or anything. However, if they get really interested in it, I want to suggest them to try learning Jupyter Notebook. And so most machine learning methods and applications are either written or at least translated into Jupyter Notebook. And then you can study it and you can modify it. You can learn how it works, right? And you can even change the neural network design. So I think that would be really helpful. Jupyter Notebooks are a little easier to access than Python itself. So that would be great if people study that and then start digging into these algorithms that's coming out of academia.
Okay.
Also, one thing I really want to emphasize to my students from this year, and I want to encourage even further coming years, are trying to, instead of using these big models, trying to use their own data sets. So either collecting or producing their own data sets and starting from there. Well, now they can actually fine-tune these large models using their own data set too. So that's another thing they really should tackle on. But for absolute beginners, yeah, you can start with ChatGPT. There is this very fascinating artwork recently came out that this women artist, okay, I don't remember her name, but it's okay, right? She installed ChatGPT in little microcontroller, and there is this camera feedback system. So, and as a result, you can put any object near you. For example, I have my phone, or I have she was using like soda can. You put soda can right there in front of you, and then you start talking like, hello, soda can. Then the soda can will respond to you. So the ChatGPT reads, understands what object that is, and answers to you as if ChatGPT is that object. So you actually can talk to any object, and they talk like that object. It's very intriguing. So anything that's accessible, and as long as you have way of working with it creatively. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and just opening our eyes to the fascinating world of AI and arts. To our listeners, if you'd like to dive deeper into these topics, visit our website at www.cmu.edu/AI-SDM, where you can also submit questions for further guests. Don't forget to subscribe to AI in Real Life for more real talks with real experts. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.